You are so focused on the bills, the exams, and the constant worry for those who depend on you that you haven't noticed something important. There's a countdown ticking down on something that could change everything. There is a door I opened with a purpose, and although you can't see it clearly yet, that door will stay open forever. I'm speaking to you now, and it's not by chance that you've come this far. You're not seeing the full picture because your eyes are clouded by exhaustion, by the tears you haven't cried in front of others, by the quiet pain that you keep hidden from everyone. But I see it all, even the things you try to ignore just to keep moving forward. You have prayed in silence. It wasn't a loud prayer, and it wasn't filled with grand words, but I heard every thought, every sigh that came from the deepest part of your heart. In the midst of the noise, in the busy tasks that overwhelm you, in the cries no one hears and the weight you carry alone, I've been watching every detail. Deep down, you know this is not just another word, not just another message. This is the answer to that prayer you made without speaking, the prayer you whispered in your heart when you thought you couldn't go on anymore. That's why I say clearly, don't leave this video. Don't ignore this voice. Something deep, something spiritual is happening right now. Heaven is moving in your favor as you listen. If you pay attention with your spirit, you will feel a stirring inside, a confirmation that doesn't come from your emotions, but from my spirit inside of you. Stay until the end, because at the end of this word, I will seal something in your life. I'm about to release what has been held back. I'm going to break the chain that's been blocking your miracle. And those who are not here will miss out on what is about to be poured into your life. You've been trying to hold everything together with your own strength. You've been carrying more weight than anyone should, believing that if you don't do it, no one else will. You've been splitting yourself into pieces. You've ignored the pain in your body, the signs of exhaustion, the emotions you keep hidden so others won't worry. On the outside, you've shown strength, but inside, you've been desperately asking for help. I know. I have seen you in those quiet hours of the night when you feel like no one is watching. In those moments, when everyone else is asleep and you're hoping the next day won't bring more bad news. The tired, wordless prayer that helped me sit with no strength left. I heard it, and I did not ignore it. But there's something wrong in the way you're acting. You're trying to keep everything under control when I am here, waiting for you to let me take full control. You have trusted partially. Yes, you've prayed and asked me for miracles, but you're still holding on to anxiety as if it all depends on you. Not next month, today. But I need you to believe it and stay alert to what I'm going to speak to you. Stay, listen, receive, because this moment will not be repeated. You might think you can wait just a little longer, that it's okay to leave it for later, that there's still time. But hear me clearly now, there are cycles that, once completed, won't come back. There are doors that, once closed, won't respond to the same cry. This is a sacred time, a turning point I've marked in time, not by chance but by mercy. What I was about to do in your home, in your health, in your name, in your provision, and in the relationship you thought was beyond repair, all of it was on the edge of being revealed. But you became distracted, so caught up in the noise, the voices around you, the fears, and the endless responsibilities that you didn't notice the sound of the key turning in heaven. I am the one who opens doors that no one can close, and I close doors that no one can open. But there are moments when my door only responds to immediate obedience, to a heart that knows this isn't just any message, but that heaven is speaking directly to the soul. Don't take time for granted. Don't treat as ordinary what holds the weight of eternity. This door is still open, but it won't stay open for long. When it closes, it won't be punishment. It will be justice. I am giving you this opportunity, calling you insistently, speaking to you like never before. Listen closely. There are deliverances I can only release when you are inside, when you take the step of faith, and when your obedience allows me to fully act in your life. But you are still standing at the threshold, with one foot in and one foot out, uncertain in your heart, looking back like Lot when I told him not to turn his eyes. You are distracted, sleeping on promises I've already given you but that you haven't activated yet. The enemy knows this. He knows you're about to step into a new season, a different dimension of faith, and that's why he has worked so hard to keep you tired, busy, and without the strength to pray, the desire to seek me, or the will to stay alert. He's used small distractions, unnecessary conflicts, constant discouragement, and even logical arguments that seem right but are only there to quench the fire I ignited within you. It's no accident that you felt more spiritual exhaustion lately, that your mind feels clouded, and your heart feels torn. All of this is part of the enemy's strategy to keep you from recognizing the moment of change, to make you miss the instant when everything aligns with my will. But you need to wake up now, because what I have prepared is not small. It's not just about financial relief, a good result in a medical test, or temporary peace in a family situation. It is a spiritual revolution. It is the new beginning you've cried out for, the one you thought I had forgotten about, the one you've waited years for without seeing a sign. While you were busy counting the days, stressing over overdue bills, worrying about anxious phone calls, about your children taking uncertain paths, or dealing with pains in your body that doctors couldn't explain, I've been writing a new chapter. That chapter is ready. It's sealed with my word and written with my faithfulness, but it will only begin when you step through the door. That door is half open, waiting for you, and with each passing second, the opportunity to make a decision becomes smaller. If you let this moment slip away again, the chapter will remain silent for an unknown time. Not because I don't want to speak, but because you will have missed a divine appointment. You feel it inside. You know this is true. You feel like you're about to lose something you haven't even fully seen yet, but I brought you here today because there is still time. You didn't arrive too late. But this is your final warning. This door means more than you realize. It represents emotional healing for wounds you've carried since childhood. It represents the rescue of someone you love, who is now being led down paths that do not lead to life. It represents an opportunity in the midst of the traffic of life, a job opening that doesn't depend on your resume, but on my favor. It represents spiritual protection against envious eyes and hidden plans that I have already seen. It stands for the breaking of a curse that has tried to repeat itself from one generation to the next in your family. But you need to step through that door now, not later, not when you feel stronger, not when you have more clarity. True faith acts without understanding, believes without seeing, and moves when I speak, not when everything looks perfect. My angel is standing before you right now. He wasn't sent for just anyone, but for you, for your home, for your story, and for what you carry inside that no one else understands. Heaven is already moving, but what will seal the miracle depends on your response. While you're reading, while you're deciding in your heart whether this message is for you, heaven is watching your position. I don't speak in vain, and you know this. I've kept you going for longer than you realize. You've walked paths where you felt alone, where each day was filled with exhaustion, where the weight of your thoughts felt heavier than your body, where long nights brought no rest and mornings brought no relief. You've kept moving out of habit, out of responsibility, out of love for your family, but not because your heart was at peace. And I was there, in every step, in every silence. I saw how you faced situations you didn't know how to resolve, only looking to heaven for a sign, even though part of you had already stopped hoping. I saw it all and I did not ignore it. I've waited for this moment with divine patience because I knew every struggle inside you, every battle you fought alone, every decision you made without anyone's support. Even when you doubted yourself, I never doubted what I had planted in you. I've watched as the world tried to extinguish the flame I put inside you through words that undermined your worth, through situations that struck at what you care about most, and through repeated frustrations meant to make you believe that it wasn't worth it to keep trusting. It wasn't your most visible enemies that hurt you the most, but the quiet doubts that crept in when you were tired, the constant worry, the comparisons with others, the feeling that you were always trying but never seeing the full result. That was what tried to wear you down from the inside, not with loud noise or big storms, but little by little, slowly draining your enthusiasm and stealing your faith day by day. Yet, despite everything, you didn't completely stop, because something within you, even though it was hurt, still held on. That part of you that refused to give up, that quiet voice inside that said, "There's something more." That was my spirit speaking to you. I know it hasn't been easy. You've carried burdens that you never shared. You said, "I'm fine," when you weren't. You smiled because you had to. You kept everything together with the strength you no longer had. At times, you even wondered how you were still standing. You pushed yourself to keep going because you knew many depended on you. But I want to tell you now, you were not made to just get by. I didn't create you to drag yourself through each day while your soul withered. I made you with eternal purpose, with a calling, with destiny, and with spiritual inheritance. Even though everything around you may feel ordinary, inside of you is a deposit from above, something that hasn't been fully activated because you've kept it hidden under routine, because you didn't feel worthy, ready, or capable. You've often thought that your time has passed, that opportunities were meant for others, that what you once dreamed of was just a youthful fantasy. But that's not the case. The longing you once felt, the passion I stirred within you, that vision that still lingers, it comes directly from me. What is born from heaven doesn't fade with time. It only falls asleep when it isn't nourished. But now, I am awakening what was planted. I am stirring up the deposit I placed inside you for this moment. I'm not concerned with your reputation. I don't measure your worth by your experience. I don't judge your abilities by the voices that criticized you. I look at the heart, and although you may be worn out on the outside, inside there is still a living root, a seed that was planted not by emotions, but by my hand. That's why it hasn't rotted. That's why it's still there, waiting for the signal that has now arrived. This is the moment. The time is now. Don't go back to analyze what didn't work. Don't stop to think about all the things that went wrong before. Don't focus on your failures, your mistakes, or what you didn't get right. What I am going to do now doesn't depend on your perfection, but on my sovereignty. There is a manifestation already in motion, and it's happening now. This is not about just a simple change in the natural world. What is happening now comes from the very depths of the spiritual realm. It's not a fleeting emotion. but a reconfiguration, a completely new design that is moving forward with purpose. It is searching for a heart that is aligned with my will, a heart that isn't afraid to respond, that doesn't make excuses, that doesn't hide behind logic anymore. If you only rely on what is visible, you will continue to doubt. But if you allow yourself to see through the eyes of the Spirit, you will understand that the time has come to stop merely surviving and start walking in the fullness of what I prepared for you from the beginning. This is a turning point, not because of your actions, but because of my mercy. Not because you've done everything right, but because I am faithful to my promises. Even if you've forgotten them, I haven't. You are standing at the edge of a transition unlike anything you've ever experienced. This isn't just about moving from one hard season into an easier one. What I'm doing with you is not a small improvement, nor a brief break from your struggles, nor a single answer to a specific prayer. I am reshaping your inner being so you can handle the weight of what is coming. Not because you lack the ability, but because there were parts of you that still needed to be formed, parts that only develop in secret, in pain, and in waiting. Everything you've gone through has had purpose. Even the silences, the delays, the situations you thought were unfair, unnecessary, or absurd, none of it was in vain. I do not play with time. I don't act without a plan. Every step you've taken has been part of a map you couldn't fully see, but I was drawing it with precision. Every night you thought would never end, every decision you had to make without support, every loss that felt pointless, all of these were shaping something inside of you, creating resilience, a maturity that is starting to shine, even if you haven't noticed it yet. There is a depth within you that was born in the moments when you wanted to give up. A depth can't be taught by people. It's not something you can read about in books, and it can't be copied. It's the result of walking with me when you understood nothing, of holding on to your faith when the ground beneath you was shaking, of raising your hands when your soul felt empty. That quiet faithfulness you showed when no one saw it, that's what I've kept, treasured like a precious perfume. Even though you didn't receive recognition from anyone, even though no human hands supported you, I was there every step of the way, adding eternal value to every small action you took. What the world overlooked, heaven celebrated. Now, you have reached the moment where the process gives way to fulfillment. But this fulfillment doesn't come merely as a reward for what you've endured. It comes as the activation of what you are now able to hold. There were things that didn't come to you before because they would have been a burden, not a blessing. But today, everything that shaped you has prepared you for what I'm about to release. And what I am releasing will not only affect you, it will have an impact on everyone around you. Because your transformation is not just for yourself, but for everything that is connected to you. Generations, decisions, paths, and entire lives will be touched by your obedience. You've been surrounded by pressures that seem to come from all directions. It wasn't by chance. It was a purification, not to destroy you, but to remove what should no longer be part of your life. Old thoughts were taken away. Automatic responses were cleared, and relationships that drained you were removed. Though you didn't understand at first why so many changes were happening so suddenly, deep down, you knew that something was being removed, released, and purified. I allowed certain structures to collapse, not as punishment, but as a sign that they couldn't go with you to the place I am now leading you. That's why you won't return to the way things were before, because you no longer belong there. What you once tolerated no longer fits you. What you once sought no longer satisfies you. I've made you grow in silence. Even though it may seem like everything has been paused, The truth is that this has been such an intense time of preparation that you can't fully understand how much you've changed. What is now being activated is a new level of perception. You're going to start seeing things differently. What once hurt you won't touch you anymore. What once troubled you will lose its power. Not because everything around you has changed, but because something stronger has been built inside you. This awakening also brings a deep cleansing. You'll start to notice how things that once held on to you will start to separate, things you once tolerated because you were afraid of losing them, afraid of rejection, or because you wanted to fit in. But now, you no longer care to please those who don't recognize what I've placed within you. You've come to understand, little by little, that what I gave you doesn't need to be explained or defended. It only needs to be lived. The authenticity I am building within you will set you apart from anything that is fake. You will no longer rely on approval to move forward. You have been elevated to a higher place, and from there, you will see everything differently. You won't need to force doors open, compete with others, or prove yourself anymore. What I am releasing to you now doesn't come as a result of human effort. It's your inheritance. It doesn't come through manipulation, but through alignment with my will. What opens now is the reward for staying when you didn't understand. What is manifesting in this moment is the fruit of having remained silent when you wanted to shout, of having trusted me when everything around you urged you to give up. This is a sacred hour, a marked time when everything that seems stuck will begin to fall into place quickly. But it won't be by your strength, it will be by my hand. I've set aside a special portion of my favor for this time, something unlike anything you've experienced before. While you've seen my hand at work in the past and received blessings, what I am releasing now is beyond anything that came before. This is not just a repeat of the past, nor a partial restoration. This is something brand new. What you experienced before was only a shadow, a preview. Now, I am bringing the full fulfillment of what you thought was delayed, of what you believe it had been completely canceled. A lot of what you didn't understand in the past will begin to make sense now. The doors that close without explanation, the connections that broke without reason, the opportunities that disappeared just when they seemed certain, all of that was under my control. I didn't allow you to face losses to hurt you, but to protect you from burdens disguised as blessings. Now, from the perspective I'm giving you, you'll see how I was good to you, even in the moments when it didn't feel like it. You'll understand that what seemed like an interruption was actually a redirection. Every time I said no, it was because something greater was already prepared for you, and I didn't want you to settle for anything less. I am now making a way for you where none existed before. It's a path that can't be explained by human logic or planned with common strategies. What I'm about to do won't depend on your connections, your network, your education, or your visible skills. It will come from human effort. It will be something only heaven can accomplish. Doors will open where you once had no access. Your name will be called in places you never imagined it would be mentioned. Things will be resolved without you having to do anything because, at this stage, what I am releasing doesn't need human effort. It only requires your surrender. Don't struggle with your thoughts. Don't try to figure out how it will happen. Don't limit it by your expectations. I do not work according to natural limitations. What I am creating in the unseen will soon begin to push its way to the surface, and you will feel it. It won't be emotional. It will be a deep certainty within you, a knowing that something has been activated even though you don't see it yet. The restlessness you've been feeling recently, the urge to get things in order, the need to separate yourself from certain things, the urgency to align your thoughts and actions. This is all part of the spiritual movement that has already started. There is an acceleration happening that will not wait for you. It comes quickly, not to confuse you, but to pull you out of the stagnation you've been in. Everything that was blocked, resisted, or held back by unseen forces will begin to loosen unexpectedly. It won't be gradual like before. There won't be announcements or visible preparations. Suddenly, the changes will come, not because of your persistence, but because the appointed time has arrived, and heaven has decided that what was promised from the beginning can no longer be delayed. You will need to release old structures and make room because what is coming cannot fit into the old ways. You can't try to force this new thing into your previous schedules or hold on to your past ways of doing things. The new requires renewal, and that starts from within. You can no longer think, act, or relate the way you did before. I am pushing you toward complete transformation. Not because you are in sin, but because what I've prepared requires a version of you that can only emerge through divine pressure. This will also involve separation. Not everyone who has been with you up to now will be able to walk with you forward. Some won't want to, and others won't understand your journey. Don't stop to explain. Don't try to convince those who choose to stay in a place you can no longer remain. This new path requires determination, not nostalgia. It's not the time to look sideways for approval. It's time to look ahead with resolve. You are not losing people. You are gaining freedom. What once seemed like closeness was, in many cases, simply holding you back. I am revealing it and removing it not as judgment, but as purpose. I am releasing a different atmosphere over your life. There will be visible signs, yes, but the most powerful changes will happen within you. A deep rest will cover you. A peace that doesn't depend on what's happening around you will govern your heart. And in the midst of that peace, you will begin to make decisions with clear vision, decisions that you once held back on due to fear, doubt, or exhaustion. You will speak with confidence, you will walk with purpose, and you will see everything from a new perspective. This time, you are not coming from a place of defeat. You are coming from a place of rebirth, and what hath been formed in secret will now be revealed in glory. This is not just another phase in your life. This is the beginning of what you have longed for, even when you didn't know how to describe it. Your spirit has been yearning for it, your soul has been seeking it, and your surroundings have needed it. And now it's here. You've been so focused on bills, exams, and the endless worry for those depending on you, that you've missed it. Here's a countdown clock ticking over something that will change everything for you. There is a door I've opened for you, one that you can't yet fully see, but it won't stay open forever. I am speaking to you now, and it's no accident that you are reading this. You're not seeing the entire picture because your eyes are clouded with exhaustion, with the tears you've never let anyone see, and with the silent pain you've carried alone. But I see it all, the things you tried to ignore just to keep moving forward. You've prayed in silence. It wasn't a loud prayer, it wasn't eloquent, but I heard every thought, every sigh, every cry from your heart. In the middle of the noise, the busyness of your life, the things no one else hears, and the weight you carry alone, I have been watching every single detail. Deep inside, you know that this is not just another word, not just another message. This is the direct answer to that silent prayer, to the cry you made the night you thought you couldn't go on. That's why I tell you clearly, don't ignore this message. Don't walk away from this voice. Something deep and spiritual is taking place right now. Heaven is working on your behalf as you listen. If you open your heart to it, you'll feel a stirring deep inside, a confirmation that doesn't come from your emotions, but from my spirit within you. Stay with me until the end, because by the end of this message, I will seal something in your life. I will release what has been held back. I am about to break the chain that has been holding back your miracle. And those who aren't here right now won't be able to receive what is about to be poured out. You've been trying to hold everything together with your own strength, carrying more than you can bear, thinking that if you don't do it, no one else will. You spread yourself thin, ignoring physical pain, the signs of exhaustion, and the emotions you keep hidden to avoid worrying others. You've appeared strong on the outside, but inside, you are crying for help. I see it. I've seen you during those quiet hours when you feel like no one is watching. When everyone else has gone to sleep and all you wish is for the next day to bring something better, anything but more bad news. The tired prayer, that silent help me that comes out with no strength left, I heard it, and I didn't ignore it. But there's a mistake in the way you're acting. You're trying to control everything while I'm here, waiting for you to let me take full control. You've trusted me partly. You've prayed. Yes, you've asked me for miracles, but you still carry anxiety as if it all depends only on you. It's not next month, it's today. But I need you to believe it now and stay attentive to what I am about to tell you. Stay, listen, and receive, because this moment will not come again. The sky has stayed silent for such a long time, not because I've distanced myself, but because I've been watching closely, waiting for the perfect moment when your heart can truly understand that what you are hearing is more than just another message, more than a random coincidence, more than a simple post or video. This is a call for help, a plea you've been waiting for, even when you thought it was too late to receive it. I've allowed you to come across this message right now because I know your heart. I know the battles you fought in silence, and I see the weight you carry, the one that no one else seems to see. I, your God, am telling you now, with all that I am, do not turn away from the miracle I've brought to you today. I know you're tired, I know your doubts, and I know you've been close to giving up, thinking your prayers never reached me. But I have heard every word, every tear, every quiet sigh. Each one is like a precious gift in my sight. I haven't been absent. I've been preparing the perfect moment, and that moment is now. Can you feel how close you are to the answers you've longed for? Don't let this moment slip away. This is not the time to look away. This is not the moment to lose focus. This is God's hour, and it's here now. Don't hang up, don't leave, and don't turn away, because in this message is the seed of a transformation that I have carefully prepared just for you. You've asked for change, you've sought a sign, and here I am, speaking directly to your heart. This is not just an emotion, it's my spirit. It's not just a coincidence, it's part of my plan. I'm calling you with eternal love. Stay, listen, and pay attention. If you ignore this message now, if you dismiss it as just another ordinary thing, you could miss what I have been preparing to change everything in your life. This message is the hand you've been waiting for, the one you imagined during your darkest moments when you thought no one would come to save you. Here it is. Here I am. Do not treat this like something ordinary, because it is far from it. Stay with me until the very end, not just out of curiosity or routine, but because within these words is something that holds the power to break the chains you've carried for so long. These words can free your mind from dark thoughts, heal your soul from wounds you thought were beyond repair, and restore what you believed was lost. What I am sharing with you here is not just human wisdom. It is a life-giving force, a flow that can enter your heart if you choose to open it. Now, pass this message to those you care about, because this word has the power to not only change your life, but theirs too. Speak it out, declare it, and share it. This message is the voice many have been waiting for, and you could be the one to carry it to others. It's not about a platform. It's not about a channel. It's a divine movement that has begun and is reaching out to you. It's about not letting go of the miracle you've been waiting for all these years. It's about saying to God, "I am ready, Lord. Speak, for I am listening." You live surrounded by tough choices. I understand. You've been facing doubts, responsibilities, and worries, but you've kept going. You've smiled even when it felt like you were walking through a desert. There are nights when the silence of your room feels louder than any noise around you. There's someone you pray for every day, someone you care for deeply, who leans on your strength, and yet they don't realize how close you are to your limit. And now, right now, you might be thinking about giving up. You may wonder if it's all worth it, if perhaps you imagined that I had something special for you. You might think it's easier to continue as if nothing was ever promised. But I, your God, want to remind you that my promises still stand. I haven't forgotten, I haven't changed my mind, and I haven't canceled them. My faithfulness doesn't depend on your mistakes or your strength. It depends on my word, and my word never fails. So I ask you, please, do not ignore this call. Don't lose your spiritual sensitivity. Don't say later, because you might be closing the door to what you've been waiting for all this time. This may be your final chance to answer the call I've made from above, not as a threat, but as a loving warning, because I don't want you to miss out on what I have been preparing for you. Do you think I haven't seen everything you carry inside? Do you believe that your struggles have gone unnoticed in my eyes? No. I have seen it all, from the very first day when you felt you couldn't keep going, all the way to this moment when your strength is running low and your faith is barely hanging on. But hear what I am saying to you now. This is not the end of the road. What you are going through is not your final defeat. This is not the closing of your story or the last chapter. Even though everything around you tells you that there's nothing left to do, I am telling you that I am not done with you. What appears stagnant, lifeless, or forgotten, I will breathe new life into it. I am not limited by human limitations, reports, or what others think is possible. I don't speak from what's seen, but from my sovereign power. Where others see destruction, I see the perfect place to start anew. There is healing where doctors have given up. There is reconciliation where you feel only distance. There is return where you think all is lost. But hear me well, because all of this depends on your yes right now, the yes from someone who decides not to delay the miracle I want to give you today. Don't think I am unaware of your pain. I understand it more than anyone else. There is a weariness that no rest can heal. It's the weight of years of struggles, broken promises, and days when you've only risen out of duty, not hope. It's a tiredness that settles deep in your soul, the kind that isn't spoken aloud, but whispers in the silence of the night, saying, "I can't keep going." It's the emptiness you feel when the day ends, wondering if you've made any difference, if you're building something meaningful or just getting by. I know you thought about giving up. Even if you haven't said it out loud, I've heard your deepest thoughts. You've considered leaving everything behind, accepting less than what you've dreamed, settling for what's here, for what comes your way. But today, I am here to tell you that what I have for you is far greater than a fading hope. What I offer you is certainty. Certainty that something is on its way to you, something so wonderful, so unexpected, and so perfectly right that it will make sense of every tear you've held back, every sacrifice made in silence, and every prayer that felt unanswered. None of it has been wasted time, and none of it has been words lost in the air. You have never been alone for even a moment. You see it now. I have been there, sometimes quietly, yes, but always present, watching, protecting, planning, and preparing the right moment. And this is it. I don't want to simply touch your story like a fleeting moment. I want to completely write it. I didn't come to fix what's broken by patching up the cracks. I came to make everything new, to begin a chapter no one saw coming, to put words in place where only silence and sighs used to be. But this new story doesn't begin with a miracle from the outside. It begins with a decision from within. Your decision. The decision to not close this message, not to turn away now, but to stay, to listen, because this is not just entertainment, it is something sacred. The envy that has surrounded you, the harsh words meant to bring you down, the judgment from those who didn't know your struggles, I have seen it all. I'm not blind to the injustice that's followed you. I haven't ignored the betrayal, the misunderstandings, and the loneliness that tried to silence you. Today, I declare to you, with all of heaven's support, that everything is being judged right now in the heavenly courts, and the decision is in your favor. People will see for themselves what I am about to do in your life. Not because you're looking for attention, not because you need to prove anything to anyone, but because I am a God who honors those who stand firm, those who keep trusting even when everything seems to be working against them. To you who kept believing with tears in your eyes, to you who did let go of my hand even when you didn't understand my plan, to you who chose to wait in faith instead of accepting what the world had to offer, I will reward you publicly. I am no one's debtor, especially not to someone who has trusted me, even when I was silent. So, don't close your heart now. What is coming is even deeper. Every word you are about to hear carries a power that is being released into your spirit right now. Do not let yourself be distracted. Do not walk away. And do not ignore what you are feeling inside. This is not just a message. It is an eternal moment interrupting your present. I understand what it feels like to wear a smile on your face while your soul is breaking inside. You don't need to explain the times when everyone expects you to be strong, when you have to keep moving forward, pretending everything is fine, even when inside there is only the echo of a cry no one else hears. You have faced situations that have deeply marked your heart, moments that changed how you view life, how you trust, and how you dream. I know how many times you wanted to close your eyes, not just to rest, but to escape from it all. But you are not here by chance. You've made it to this point because there is still something in your story that isn't finished. It has not been overlooked. Nothing you've been through has been lost. Every painful step, every silent tear, every betrayal that wounded your heart, every single thing has been noticed, recorded, and kept with a greater purpose. Where others may only see another life, I have seen a faithful heart that has weathered storms with an open soul, that has fallen, yet stood back up, even when you felt you had no strength left. And that does not go unnoticed by me. I didn't come to tell you about an ideal future or empty promises. What I speak over your life is something I have prepared for you with intention, with care, and with eternal purpose. I'm not improvising. I'm not just trying to figure out how to help you along the way. I have already seen your struggles, and for each one, I have already placed provision, deliverance, and redemption. I don't want to help you simply survive. I want you to live the fullness of what I dreamed for you before your heart ever began to beat. You've walked for so long with unanswered questions. You've learned to carry certain wounds as if they are part of you, as if there is no hope of seeing them healed. But those wounds were never meant to stay. You were not made to carry those burdens throughout your life. The pain you have felt was never part of the original plan. I know how many times you wondered if you were paying for past mistakes, if you were destined to live with that emptiness, as if something would always be missing. But today, I want to tell you that what you are going through is not a punishment, it is a transition. It is a preparation for a new season, one that will be unlike anything you've experienced before. You have endured more than you thought you could. You have held on to your faith when giving up would have been the easier choice. And even though it feels like you have nothing to show for all your effort, let me remind you that in the very places where others gave up on you, I was preparing you. In every delay, every moment of silence, and every loss, I wasn't just there, I was building something inside you that is stronger than any storm. Before I give you what you asked for, I decided to give you what you needed: strength, resilience, depth, and most importantly, a closer relationship with me. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, and you don't need to justify yourself. What's about to come your way is not because of what you've done, but because of my faithfulness. Even when your faith wavered, even when doubts crept in, even when fear tried to take hold, I haven't changed my mind about you. What I said about you is still true. My plans for you are unchanged. What I showed you in dreams, and the words that once shook your spirit, those things are still alive. They haven't been canceled, they've only been waiting. Now is the time for what I've been preparing in secret to be revealed. You don't need to chase after anything, because what's meant for you will come to you with heaven's strength behind it. What I have set aside for you has your name on it, and no one, no man, no situation, no failure can take it away. It's not about what you did or didn't do. It's about who I am. And I do not lie, I do not change, and I do not fail. Many things have been said about you. People have judged you without truly knowing you. You've been hurt by words that still echo in your mind. But what others say does not define your future. There is a greater plan, one that does not depend on human opinions. In the plan, there is restoration, there is redemption, and there is honor. Not to build your ego, but so that everyone around you will see that I am real, that I am still at work, and that my power is not a story from the past, but a living, present truth. Those who saw you fall, those who thought you were lost, and those who walked away when you needed them most, they will all see what I do in your life. But this won't be for revenge. It will be for divine justice. I honor the one who has walked in integrity even when no one was watching. The one who chose the path of righteousness even when it was hard, and the one who forgave even when no one asked for it. What's coming for you will not be small. It will be deep, lasting, and supernatural. And when it begins to unfold, you will know it wasn't by chance, it wasn't luck, and it wasn't coincidence. It was my grace, my hand moving out of love, out of covenant, out of faithfulness. Everything I have done has been for you from the very beginning. I know many times you have felt out of place, like you don't belong. You are present, surrounded by people, yet you carry an inner loneliness that you can't explain. You go through your days walking, talking, laughing, working but something feels disconnected, as if the gears are turning but missing the force that gives it meaning. You wonder if you will ever experience the fullness of life that others seem to live so easily. What you don't realize is that this feeling is not a flaw in you. It is a sign that your soul is made for something deeper, something that can't be found in the surface-level things of life. You've tried to fit in. You've tried to adjust yourself to be understood, to be accepted. But what I placed in you was never meant to fit the mold of the ordinary. You were created with a unique purpose, a distinct identity that won't always be understood by those who haven't learned to see with spiritual eyes. You are not strange, you are not wrong, and you are not broken. You are set apart, reserved for something that hasn't happened yet but was planned long before you were born. You haven't been left behind, and you are not late. You didn't miss your chance at destiny. Everything that hasn't come yet isn't because it's not meant for you. It's because the time isn't right. The right time isn't the one set by your needs or anxieties, but the one aligned with eternity. On that clock, there are no delays, only processes. And processes aren't punishments, they are preparation. Sometimes, when silence lingers, it can make you question if you're going in the right direction. But know that every delay is part of your preparation. Sometimes, the lack of visible results can make you feel like you're stuck, but don't confuse a lack of movement with a lack of progress. There are seasons where what looks like stillness is actually an internal process that cannot be seen, but it is the very foundation for everything that will follow. It's like the roots of a tree growing in the darkness, strengthening it so that the tree won't collapse when the storm comes. You are closer to the manifestation of your dreams than you think, but it won't appear the way you expected. It won't come with loud announcements or grand signs. It will be subtle, and it will happen suddenly. And as you step into it, you will finally understand why there were so many no's, so many silences, so many pauses, and so many delays that you didn't understand. Everything will fall into place because it was never just about what you were going to receive. It was about the person you were becoming in the process of being ready to receive it. I have been building you quietly, not because you aren't worthy of being seen, but because what I'm doing with you requires depth, and depth is built in intimacy. While others chased after recognition, you were shaped in secret. While others sought applause, you learned to hold on in faith when no one could see. That holds immeasurable value in heaven, and even though no one may have acknowledged it yet, there is a day marked on God's calendar when everything will be revealed, not for display, but for the fulfillment of your purpose. I know there are dreams you buried because the weight was too painful. I know there are desires you thought were too naive, as if wanting more was somehow wrong. But none of that has been wasted. Every seed you've sown is still alive beneath the surface of your story, and at the perfect moment, it will begin to grow. And it won't be because you did something extraordinary, but because you stayed when everything pushed you to quit. You held on to the promise, even when everything around you was telling you it wasn't worth it. Don't compare your journey with others. What I have for you is unique to you. What others receive won't take away from what is yours. What I give never runs out. There is no lack in my kingdom. Every destiny is written with perfect wisdom, and you, with everything you've lived through, everything you've felt, and everything you thought you had lost, are still part of that divine design. You are not in the shadows. You are not second best, and you have not been forgotten. You are being carefully positioned for the right moment. There are things you may not understand right now, but when my purpose is fully revealed, you will see that nothing was missing along the way. You were never lacking preparation, favor, or faith. The only thing that was missing was my kairos, my appointed time, that precise moment when everything comes together and everything falls into place. And now, you are close. Not because of an emotion, but because everything within you has led you to this point. You have been finely tuned, like an instrument, to be played at exactly the right moment. And that sound will bring life, impact, and purpose not just for you, but for those around you. You are standing at the threshold of something beyond your imagination, not because it's too great, but because it was designed in eternity to be revealed only when you were ready to receive it, not as a burden, but as a natural extension of who you have become. You felt the pressure to keep moving forward, not knowing exactly where. You've carried the weight of having to show that everything is fine, while inside, the compass of your soul seemed to have lost its way. But still, you kept going. Not from pride, not to pretend, but because deep within you there is a conviction that hasn't been broken, even when hope has wavered, a strength you may not always understand, but one that rises each time everything seems on the brink of falling apart. That strength is not yours. The resistance that keeps you going doesn't come from your own power or will. It's the result of an assignment that cannot be undone. There's a purpose over your life that is not shaped by your circumstances. It wasn't written based on your successes, nor erased by your mistakes. What has been spoken about you from above remains firm, unmovable, waiting for the right moment to be revealed with great power. Even if you can't see it yet, that moment is coming. You felt that many people don't understand your journey. Sometimes, you don't understand it yourself. You've been forced to move forward without answers, without a guide, and without clear direction. But let me tell you something few will understand. The most valuable thing I am shaping in you is not what you can say with words, but what others will see in your quiet example. Because you are not being prepared for the world's approval, but to endure what others couldn't bear. You are being prepared to carry spiritual weight, to hold truths that others could not bear, and to face battles that may not be visible but will transform you deeply. It is not punishment. It is not neglect. It is formation. Even the darkest seasons, the ones full of confusion, mental exhaustion, emotional emptiness, and complete silence, are not without meaning. They are telling a deeper story, one that is not measured by outward success, but by the depth of what I have been building inside you, unseen by others. Many people seek results, but you have been called to carry my presence. Others chase after platforms, but to you, I have given a mission. This mission isn't passed down by human lineage. It cannot be earned through hard work, nor can it be bought with charm or effort. It can only be received through surrender. And though you didn't realize it at first, that is exactly what you have been doing each time you chose to keep trusting, even when you didn't understand. Every time you chose silence over defending yourself, every time you chose to love without getting love in return, every time you moved forward when the ground beneath you felt unsteady, you were surrendering. Do you know what truly moves my heart? Obedience that stays even when there's no immediate reward. The heart that doesn't grow cold despite rejection. The soul that continues to believe when no one else does. That is true faith. And that is what has kept you connected to a purpose far greater than anything your mind can understand right now. What you are experiencing is not a pause. It's an alignment, a transition that is correcting your course, refining the unseen details, and aligning the eternal with the temporary. The sky has remained quiet for so long, not because I've moved away, but because I've been watching closely, waiting for the perfect moment when your heart could understand that what you are hearing is not just any message. It's not a coincidence, not another video, not just another post among many. It's a rescue, an urgent call, the answer you've been waiting for, even when you thought it was too late to receive it. I allowed you to find this message at the exact moment because I know your thoughts. I know the battles you fought in secret, and I see the weight you carry, the burden that no one else seems to notice. I, the Lord your God, tell you with insistence and with all that I am, do not reject the miracle I am delivering to you today. I know you are tired. I know you doubted more times than you care to admit. I know you've been on the edge of giving up, thinking your prayers never reached me. But I have heard you. Every word you have spoken, every tear you shed, every silence I had been kept in my presence, like a precious perfume. I have not been distant. I have been preparing the perfect moment, and now that moment is here. Do you realize what you might be missing just because you hesitate? Do you know how close you are to seeing the answer to what you've asked for? This is not the time to be distracted. This is not the time to walk away. This is God's hour. Do not close this now. Do not leave this place. Do not turn away, because this message contains the seed of a life-changing transformation that I have carefully prepared for you. You've cried out for change. You've asked for a sign, and here I am, speaking directly to your heart. It's not just an emotion, it is my spirit. It's not coincidence, it is purpose. I beg you with eternal love, stay, listen, pay attention. If you get distracted now, if you dismiss this as just another message, you could lose what I have prepared to completely change everything in your life. This message is the hand you've been waiting for, the one you imagined during your darkest nights when you thought no one would come to help you. Here it is. Here I am. Do not ignore this as something ordinary, because it is not. Stay with me until the end, not just out of curiosity or habit, but because this word holds the power to break the chains you've carried for years. Words that can free your mind from dark thoughts, heal your wounded soul, and restore what you thought was lost. What I am offering is not just human words. It is a river of life that can flow through you if you choose to open your heart. Now, share this with those you love, because this message has the power to change not only your life, but theirs as well. Speak it, declare it. This message is the voice many have been waiting for, and you may be the one to carry it to others. It's not about a channel. It's not about a platform. It's about a heavenly movement that has begun and wants to reach you. It's about holding on to the miracle you've been asking for all these years. It's about saying to heaven, I am ready, Lord.